There's a reason why the most attractive men throughout history never seemed desperate for attention. They understood something that modern dating has forgotten. True power lies not in what you say, but in what you choose not to say. The ancient Stoics knew the secret 2,000 years ago, and it's more relevant today than ever before. In our hyper-connected world, your phone has become a window into your soul. Every text you send reveals your level of emotional discipline, your inner confidence, and your understanding of human psychology. Most men fail this test miserably. They text like their happiness depends on an immediate response. They overexplain, they chase, they reveal their hand too early. But the Stoic man operates differently. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. In dating, the best attraction is not to be like every other man who's texting her. While others flood her phone with validation-seeking messages, you'll learn to communicate with the calm authority of someone who has options, someone who has purpose beyond any single conversation. Your texting habits are a direct reflection of your inner state. Are you coming from a place of abundance or scarcity, confidence or insecurity? The Stoics taught us that we cannot control outcomes, but we can control our responses. This principle transforms how you text, and consequently, how women perceive you. The first secret lies in understanding the power of strategic silence. Most men are terrified of silence in conversation, rushing to fill every pause with unnecessary words. But silence creates space for her imagination to work. When you don't immediately respond to every message, you're not playing games. You're demonstrating that you have a life worth living. Epictetus taught that we should speak only when our words improve upon silence. This applies perfectly to texting. Each message should serve a purpose, not just fill the void of your own anxiety. Women are naturally drawn to mystery because mystery suggests depth. When you don't explain every detail of your day, when you don't justify every decision, you maintain an air of intrigue that keeps her curious. The moment you start over-explaining your actions, you've revealed that you're seeking her approval rather than simply sharing your reality. Seneca understood that the wise man reveals himself gradually, like dawn breaking slowly over the horizon. The second principle revolves around emotional non-reactivity. When she takes hours to respond, when she seems distant, when she tests your patience, your immediate reaction reveals everything about your character. The average man will either become clingy and desperate or cold and passive-aggressive. The Stoic man remains unaffected by external circumstances. Your energy stays consistent whether she responds in 5 minutes or 5 hours. This consistency is magnetic because it signals emotional stability, a quality that's increasingly rare in our reactive world. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that other people's actions cannot disturb his inner peace unless he allows them to. This mindset transforms your texting completely. You're not monitoring her online activity. You're not analyzing response times. You're not creating stories about what her delayed reply means. You're simply present in your own life, occasionally sharing that presence with someone who's earned your attention. The third secret involves leading conversations toward real-world connection rather than endless digital small talk. Most men fall into the trap of trying to build attraction through text alone, sending joke after joke, story after story, trying to entertain their way into her heart. But text is a tool for logistics, not for building deep connection. The Stoic man uses texting to arrange meaningful interactions, not to replace them. When you consistently move conversations from digital to physical spaces, you demonstrate that you understand the hierarchy of human connection. Face-to-face interaction will always be more powerful than any message you could send. This approach also creates natural urgency and shows that you value your time and hers enough to seek quality over quantity in your communication. The fourth principle centers on maintaining your mission above all else. The most attractive quality a man can possess is a sense of purpose that extends far beyond any romantic interest. When your text reflects someone who has goals, ambitions, and responsibilities that matter to you, you naturally become more intriguing. You're not available at every moment because you're building something meaningful with your life. Seneca wrote that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Your romantic life should be an addition to an already fulfilling existence, not the foundation upon which your happiness rests. This shows up in your texting through subtle references to your pursuits, your growth, your commitments to yourself and your future. The fifth secret is understanding the psychology of investment. People value what they work for more than what's freely given. When you make every conversation too easy, when you're always available, when you never create any space for her to pursue, you rob her of the opportunity to invest in the connection. The Stoic man creates natural tension, not through manipulation, but through authentic unavailability. You're genuinely busy building your life, which means your attention is genuinely valuable. This doesn't mean being artificially scarce or playing childish games. It means having enough going on in your life that you can't always respond immediately, that you sometimes prioritize other commitments, that your world doesn't revolve around your phone. This natural scarcity creates appreciation for the moments when you are fully present. The final principle involves knowing when to walk away. The Stoics understood that attachment to outcomes leads to suffering. When you need a specific response from a specific person to feel good about yourself, you've already lost your power. The most attractive men are those who can engage fully while remaining unattached to results. They can invest in a conversation while being perfectly content if it leads nowhere. This detachment isn't coldness, it's freedom. It's the freedom to be genuinely interested without being needy, to be charming without being try-hard, to be present without being clingy. Women sense this energy immediately because it's so rare. Most men they encounter are either completely disinterested or desperately seeking validation. The Stoic man occupies the powerful middle ground of engaged detachment. Remember that the goal isn't to manipulate or trick anyone into liking you. The goal is to become the kind of man who naturally attracts healthy relationships through authentic strength and emotional maturity. These texting principles are simply external expressions of internal development. The real work happens in building yourself into someone whose attention is genuinely valuable, whose time is genuinely precious, whose presence is genuinely magnetic. The most attractive men understand that they cannot control whether someone chooses to appreciate them, but they can control whether they remain worthy of appreciation. They focus on what's within their power, their character, their growth, their contribution to the world. Everything else, including how women respond to their texts, is ultimately beyond their control and therefore not worth their emotional energy. True confidence comes not from getting the response you want, but from knowing you'll be perfectly fine regardless of what response you receive. When you reach this level of inner strength, your texting naturally reflects the calm authority of someone who has found his center. And that, more than any clever line or perfect timing, is what makes a man truly irresistible.